Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. If you're loving what you're hearing on the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, I would love it if you went into Apple Podcasts and took 30 seconds to leave a review. Reviews help attract new listeners. So please go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts and leave a review. On today's show, we're talking about a single word. The problem with this single word is that it's ambiguous. We often think we know the language we speak and what it means, but the truth is, unless you're really clear on exactly what you mean, very simple words can lead you down a dead-end path. Today's show is focused on a simple word that has 4 letters. When projects run into difficulty, the culprit is often a failure in the plan. In this year, the year 2020, with all the global dislocations that have befallen our economies, most business leaders would bristle at the notion that the plan was to blame for the difficulties being experienced. My gosh, we've had a global pandemic, we've had government-mandated shutdowns, we've been ordered by our governments not to conduct business. How can you sit on your high horse and say the plan was to blame? I heard a business leader tell me in the past week, he said, "We had a plan, and the plan couldn't be executed." Now, the Project Management Institute is the globally recognized leader in project management certification. And if you're going to be a professional project manager, you're going to take a bunch of courses, at the end take a lengthy exam, and finally, you're a professional project manager. The PMI has a lengthy publication called the Project Management Body of Knowledge. This document breaks down project management into 5 distinct process groups, 10 knowledge areas, and 49 distinct processes. The project plan itself has an outline of 10 chapters. Has chapters on scope management, requirements management, the schedule, financial management, quality management, resource management, stakeholder management, communications management, project change management, and risk management. And according to PMI, a plan is a formal approved document used to guide both the project execution and project control. The primary uses of the project plan are to document the planning assumptions and decisions, to facilitate communications among project stakeholders, and document the approved scope, the cost, and the schedule baselines. See, a plan is a deliverable. It's a document you can point to. It's a noun. Well, therein lies the problem. When you have a plan, the work to produce the plan is done. And when you think the plan is a noun, you completely miss the fact that the word plan is also a verb. A verb is an action word in most languages. You can conjugate the verb, as in I plan, you plan, he plans, she plans, they plan, we plan. All of the things you can do with a verb can be done with the word plan. If you think of the word plan as a noun, it often has a finite endpoint. The plan is complete. It's done. We now have a plan. We obviously don't want to do an incomplete job of planning, no more than you want to do an incomplete job of anything. In order to achieve excellence, things need to be taken to completion. For example, if you take flour, water, sugar, and yeast, you might have bread at the end, but if you don't take it to completion, you don't get bread. That's where the term half-baked comes from. We need to take things to completion. But plans are different. Plans, despite our ideals, are never done. They're continually being pushed off track by forces. I might have a plan to sail a ship from New York to Gibraltar. I plot the course based on the direction I need to go, but there's wind, there's current. There are local waves that can instantaneously turn the ship so that from one second to the next, it's no longer facing the intended direction. You have to always be adjusting course. In fact, you're almost always off course. There's a few minuscule instants in time when the ship is actually on course. The rest of the time it's off course, trying to get back on course. And once you get out on the water, you might discover there's weather that you thought was going to be part of the journey, and it changes. You might have to take a detour of 1,000 miles in order to avoid that hurricane that changed direction. You see, in order to be useful in the real world, the word plan is a verb first and a noun second. The folks at PMI are great. They're academic. They've studied project management about as deeply as it's possible to do so, and they've documented it thoroughly. But the problem is, they've treated the word plan as a noun, not as a verb. A few months ago, I reviewed a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. He talks about the importance of visioning. No doubt you've heard about how the sprinter visualized standing on the podium with the gold medal around their neck while the national anthem was playing in the background. It's important to have a clear vision. But Hal asserts that static visioning of standing on the podium is not the ticket. That moment on the podium, that instant time, is not the empowering part of the vision. In order for the vision to be empowering, it must engage you in the process, the action needed to get to your goal. There it is again, a 4-letter word. We see a verb being more empowering than the noun. As you think about that, have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.